when trust is broken, understanding abuses in schools.
From the beginning, let's start. Do we understand what an abuse is?
Abuse, yes.
If you don't know that a particular action is an abuse, you will do it and think it's normal. This kind of evil thrive in secrecy. So the more you put it in the dark, the more the perpetrators, get bold. The more it happens, the more you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You raise a particular issue and then they tell you, no, I turned out well. And if everybody turns out well, why is society like this? You attend some PTA meetings and as a parent, you're embarrassed. Like, how is a parent behaving like this? When you see a child display in school, it's a function of how the parents have presented the teachers. So if I present your teacher to you as someone who embodies knowledge and discipline, someone you should respect and you look up to in school, when you get to school as a child, you see the teacher like that.
Hello, welcome to another exciting, amazing edition of the LHC Podcast, a podcast inspiring elevated living. My name is Emmanuel. I am your host as always, and it promises to be an exciting, entertaining, and educative show. Today, we are discussing a very, very, very critical topic. And what is that topic? We're basically looking at when trust is broken, understanding abuses in schools, right? When trust is broken, understanding abuse in school. And I have a very wonderful guest in the house today who will be taking us through and educating us on what we need to know and how we can go about it. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mr. Damilare. Mr. Damilare, nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much. Mr. Damilare is a seasoned visual and marketing communications expert with over 2 decades of experience across banking, telecoms, and technology, uniquely blending architectural designs thinking with strategic storytelling. He is the founder and creative director of Real Dreams Media Limited and Design Pulse, publisher of Loom magazines, and more and more. Not just that, is also the PTA chairman of Stanford Sanctum's Startup College. Right? You're welcome. Sorry, I murdered. I'm having issues. I have code and I'm basically just managing to pronounce words.
You.
Yes, we're looking at abuses in schools. And not just in schools, but again, our environment, basically. Looking at kids. Sometimes these abuses go on without report. It is only when they are filmed and schools get to know or see it, and then they think that is going to damage their reputation, that is when they take action. Why is it so?
Thank you very much for having me. This is a very, very sensitive issue. Sensitive in the sense that because of the society that we live in, we tend to shy away from it. We don't want to, either as parents or as school owners, we don't want to be tainted. We don't want to be involved when it comes to, story of abuses. But the truth is, it's happening. It's been happening. Is probably more pronounced now because of social media and different ways that we propagate the information. But I think that is always happened. So a lot of if you look at it in that context, a lot of the adults that we have now had experienced a form of abuse at some point in their lives. But then we had to look at it in the context of the society, where we're Africans, we're Nigerians. We have a bit of, for lack of a better word, shame. We don't want to be seen as someone who's abused someone or someone who has been abused. So a lot of circumstances, these things happen and people just want to keep it low. We don't want our family name out there. We don't want our school name out there. Parents don't want their children to be associated with the news. So when it happens, everybody tries as much as possible to, Keep it low. And this kind of evil thrive in secrecy. So the more you put it in the dark, the more the perpetrators, get bold. The more it happens, the more you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's going on. It's going on in schools. It's going on, in the homes. It's going on with parents. And now, unfortunately, a lot of the parents that experienced abuse over the years, a lot of the children that experience the abuse are now parents. Right.
Yeah.
So we see these things, and then we try to look away. We try to look away because we don't want people to think, oh, this family, this child, this parent. So everybody comes out, every parent comes to school in the morning looking all perfect, as if we all have it all together. Oh, I am raising. It's very interesting. You read on social media and everybody say that they turn out well. You raise a particular issue and then they tell you, no, I turned out well. And if everybody turns out well, why is society like this? So really, we need to understand first what the problems are. If you don't know that a particular action is an abuse, you will do it and think it's normal, right? So from the beginning, let's start. Do we understand what an abuse is?
Abuse, yes. Which is the point I wanted to ask.
Do we know what it is? Because as my experience as a PTA chairman, over time, we see things happen. And then even when you react, some other parents are wondering,
why are you
reacting? What's the big deal? I'll give you an instance.
Yeah.
So you're having inter-house sports, right? You have female students running. You have a male teacher at the end of the line who is hugging and welcoming them as you run to the finish line, right? I saw it. I know that this is not right. And then it happened with the second girl. And by the third girl, I was up on my feet like, no. If it's the girls running, a male teacher should not be hugging and welcoming them at the finish line. Put a female teacher there.
Yeah.
But until that point, parents were seated. They feel it was okay. The teacher feel
it's all joy.
It's all joy. I mean, the girl has crossed the finish line, but it was okay for a full-grown girl to go all hugging the male teacher and the teacher doing the same thing, and everybody felt it was fine. So if we don't know what really is the abuse, and some of these things, they start like that, and then they grow, and then they thrive. And you look away at the beginning as if nothing is happening, and before you know it.
Does culture play a role in this? Because some of the things that we've gone through growing up as kids are seen to be normal. And one thing that they point out at the end of the day is like, oh, your parents are giving you training. Families, uncles are giving you training. Abuses happen, and then it is called training. And sometimes they also reference that they were also brought up in the same way. Is that what is festering?
So culture, yes, culture plays a very vital role. Like the way I started, we live in a country, in a society where you don't want to be stigmatized.
Okay.
You don't want people. So when things happen, parents don't want the other compound to hear about it because it's happened to their child. They want to keep it low. A girl gets abused, and you want to find a way to deal with it such that the next person does not hear it. And I said, this kind of evil will thrive in darkness, in secrecy. The more you try to shush everybody, the more whoever is perpetrating that evil gets bolder and stronger, and they'll do it again.
And I think that even the victims are even bullied to remain quiet at the end of the day. Even
the parents of the victims would say, it's okay, it's fine.
It's fine, just normal, just get it.
Yeah, but you see, we also have, don't forget, our society is such that, I mean, until recently, we live in a society where every family tries to raise every child. Right, so you're not just raising your child. It's the community. So you have the right to talk to another child who's not your child if you think that child is doing something wrong, right? So we give that liberty at some point. Your uncle can spank you. Your auntie can talk to you, right? Your neighbor who is an elderly person can call you and send you on an errand, right? It was liberty. It was good for us to have it. And then in the midst of that, we started to find abuses. So So a man is inside the house sending a girl on errand, asking her to come inside. It was the liberty of the community raises the child, and then it leads to abuse. But how do we get to the point where we switch from that liberty to abuse? It's because at some point along the line, people stop paying attention, parents stop paying attention, uncles stop paying attention. Things are happening, and you're acting like they're not happening. You don't even. So a child comes to you and is giving you signs, signals that things are going on, and you're not just paying attention.
So first of all, let's look at these. Because abuse is not just physical; it could be emotional. It could be the use of words. It could be sexual.
Yeah.
Name it. For instance, we've had cases in the past where students are flogged to death in schools. Uncles, aunties raping their nieces and nephews, as it were. Parents also being part of the abuse in some cases. In situations like these, my question is, who has the responsibility of ensuring the safety of a child or the child?
Right. In a lot of cases, especially with schools, you want to look at the fact that these children come from their homes to start with.
So, yes.
They come into the school community where the school kind of take over, right? Yeah. The responsibility of, between the hours of 8 and 3 or 4, you are within our walls, we're the one in charge. Yeah. But then don't forget that every child, comes from a home. Right, so we get to school and you say, these students this school is bad, for example. Yeah. This school is bad. There are no morals in the school. But take all of the children out and leave the school empty. Is the school bad? Not exactly. So it's not the school. It's children from different homes, right? And because the responsibility is on parents at some point, and then it comes to the school at the other point, you get to a point where parents start to shy away from their responsibility and leave it to the school. And teachers start to say, no, these children are not well brought up. That's why they are bringing problems to us in school. Right? Yeah. And then you start to see, but ultimately from my experience, I will put a lot of the blame at the doorstep of the parents.
Of the parents, okay.
Of the parents, yes. Because a lot of the things that we used to learn from home are now called extracurricular in schools. Students pay, parents pay so that the schools will help them to instill those discipline in their children, things that they can't do.
Basically transferring parenting to the school,
to the teachers, right?
And then there's a terminology now currently reigning, which is trending on socials. They call it, is it safe parenting, where a child does something, the parents look away. You can't even correct. I'm not saying that correcting is not right or wrong, or neither is it wrong, but correcting in the right way, according to established norms and laws of the land. As a result, you have so many children going over the board in terms of attitude, behavior. You've seen cases of bullying in schools, bullying up to the point of death. And even in Lagos here, we've had cases with 1 or 2 schools. I would save them that. I'll save them from mentioning the names. Recently, we have a video trending where a teacher on their own part sexually abusing a 35-year-old teacher, abusing a 16-year-old student. Right. And that is currently trending, I think, somewhere in South Africa or something like that. And we have all of these constantly happening in our society. How, first of all, can we begin to curb these menace?
I'll go back to where I started from.
Yeah.
You can't check abuse if you don't know what abuse is. You can't pick an attitude as wrong or bad if you don't know what a bad attitude is. And it's safe for me to say, you see the children that in quotes were not properly brought up in 2-3 decades ago, they are now parents. So what do you think they will pass on to their children when they have actually picked nothing from their own parents? You attend some PTA meetings, and as a parent, you're embarrassed. Like, how is a parent behaving like this? I mean, it makes the matter worse when they speak about the school, speak out about these teachers in their homes. When you see a child display in school, it's a function of how the parents have, presented the teachers. So if I present your teacher to you as someone who embodies knowledge and discipline, someone you should respect and look up to in school, when you get to school as a child, you see the teacher like that. But if I tell you that teacher has no rights, that teacher has no say, that teacher has no control. I saw a video recently, parents went to school. For some reason, the teacher hits the child. The parents went to school in front of the child and started to beat the teacher. There is nothing you want to tell that kind of child. Now, am I going to blame the child in that situation? No, we'll go back to the parents. But the parents will tell you categorically that their actions were right. Right? Mm-hmm. So if a parent tells you that his action is right, her action is right, who are you to tell her otherwise? How would you correct what you don't even know that is wrong in the first place? So a child tells an adult that, what was that question on Twitter? The one girl asked the governor one time and said, are you mad? Mm. Right? Mm. And my head went off like, how do you? And then another parent, an elderly person, said to me, she just asked the question. I'm like, no, that's not just the question. And we had that argument for a while. And at some point I told the young man, I said, see, I've got 3 children. I can leave them with you for 1 year and close my eyes. None of them will ask you, are you mad?
Are you mad?
Right? So it comes down to parents. If your attitude is wrong as a parent, your children will pick it up. They'll learn it. They'll think it's okay to behave like that. And then from that parent, it goes to the children. The children takes it to the school. It's not always about the school. It's about, like I said, no matter how bad you think a school is, take out all of the children and go to the school empty. It's the school still right.
It will be good. So the children, the parents, you are saying that
the parents,
the bulk stops at the parents.
Parents.
How do we begin to? Is the government doing so much in terms of awareness creation and helping the parents understand what their responsibility is? Because it's easy to bring forth an offspring, but ensuring that we have a safe society for all is also important. Is it the government's responsibility, or is the government doing so much in terms of enlightenment, in terms of putting the rule, the laws out there so that they understand what it
okay, is? So I started with the parents, right? Yeah. And like all of this rot starts with the parents. But then I go to the school, and then I go to government. School has got a very huge role to play.
Okay.
Right? Schools give the chance, to a child who's been raised in a home that's not, proper.
Yeah.
School gives you the chance to see the other side of things, how things should be done.
Yeah.
Right? Every school is as good, as sound as whoever is in charge of it. Now, I'm not saying who owns it, whoever runs the school, right? Yeah. If a school is disciplined and firm and treat students like that, you will see it on the students. Right. The interesting thing is parents can be because of the economic aspect of running a school, you want to satisfy your customers, you don't want them to go. A lot of times school owners tend to, flinch when these parents come at them. And you don't discover that you can have a vision. You can have a vision, this is direction, this is the kind of school I want to create. Right?
And if you don't fit
if you give in to parents, in 1 year, you have a totally different school. You will not understand how it's happening.
Yeah.
But you have they will make you change. They will change you.
Belief system.
Do you understand?
Yes.
You have a totally different school. So as a school owner, as a school manager, you need to understand that the interest of these children is paramount, such that when parents come and they try to bully you, into conforming to certain standards, it is your right, it is your role to stand and say, no, this is how a school should be run. This is the vision that I have. This is how I want these children to turn out. Because eventually, these parents would would twist you.
Yeah.
And then your school will lose ground. And then they are the same people that will spread the news and say, that school, forget about that school. It's not a good school. But it was never that kind of school until you joined as a parent, right? So when these things happen, school has that role to play. Government also now needs to help the school, right? But it ultimately still comes to leadership. Who's in charge? If that person knows what is wrong, it cascades that down to the people working with him. But you see, if, like you said, the people that were not properly brought up decades ago are now parents. So if you're in authority, if you're in charge, and you really do not know what is right from what is wrong, we don't stand a chance. It becomes very difficult.
So let's take it. I get you. I totally agree with you on all points. But sometimes we find out that schools try as much as possible to shield the perpetrators of some dastardly acts within school. Why is this so?
So school is, first off, you want to impact knowledge. You want to raise role models.
Yeah.
You want to raise students who are disciplined and academically sound. But then on the other side, school is business. School is business. School is about the numbers. How many parents do I have? How many children do I have? As much as you want to, do all you can to bring them in, you also want to keep them, right? So you find schools trying to defend themselves, trying to protect their names. So that, because if your school trend for the wrong reasons, potential parents will not come. The ones there, you might lose them, and you don't want to lose them. So a lot of times it is this school trying to be, it becomes a case of, do I stand with my morals or do I keep my business, right? And a lot of times school will not stand to keep their businesses.
I'll take for instance, I'll take an example from what happened in the past here in Lagos. The student was brutalized and then had internal injuries, which led to death. And the school tried as much as possible to deny the entire incident. And even then gave other excuses why the boy died at the end of the day. My question, or what I'm still thinking is, wouldn't it have been easy or better off to say, okay, guys, this has happened.
Right.
We accept that we may be negligent in certain aspects, but these actually happened. First of all, owning that this happened. Then two, it could lead to damage payments, right? But I quite understand. But just so that it serves as a detriment to other students or parents who are involved to say, okay, this has happened. We quite agree. We may have been negligent in certain aspects. Fine. But this happened, and this is the true picture of things. And the students involved and the parents, the law enforcement agency can critically then look into it and press appropriate charges, or the victim's parent can then press appropriate charges, which then becomes a deterrent to every other student in that environment. And then it then shapes a new culture, and parents will then tell their kids that you must not behave like this when you go to that school.
Right. So I mean, it still comes down to school is business.
Yeah.
Ultimately. School is business. In a lot of cases, the child that is found wanting is usually from the parents that pay school fees easily, right? And when you have that situation, the school will always want to protect the school. And you see, when these things happen and they break on social media, a lot of times you hear first from the parents, and you don't hear the true picture. What the parents will also want to protect their children. So as much as the school wants to protect the school owners want to protect the interests of the school, you'll see that parents come out and then they say things. Something happened recently. A child left a particular university, and the first version that I read was by the parents. Oh, how can this school be this negligent? Oh, university that we pay so much. Da, 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 da. And eventually the school came out and said, no, the boy escaped, went outside of uni to do some rituals with some other friends. It was the boy's problem. It wasn't a school problem. But parents will also want to they want to look good. Right? The last thing you want to tell a parent is that he's doing badly or she's doing badly or their kids are badly raised. No, they'll fight you. They'll react, right? So parents will come out and say, no, my child is a good child. Every child is a good child in school. So why is society like this? Every parent believes my child is good. My child is good. If you have 100 students, 200 parents saying we have good children, but the school is bad. So what's going on? So you come there and then the parents say, no. But if there's one thing I have learned over the years is when they say in school that students have done this, just calm down first and hear the true story. Because you will be shocked that your child that you think is the best is the perpetrator of the evil. Eventually. You get. Yeah. So school will always try to protect their own interests so that they don't look like, oh, we're a weak school, we're a bad school, we don't have the right policies in place and all that. But parents will also want to make you feel the easy thing to do in situations like that is to pass the blame to someone else. Or it's not a parent thing, it's the school thing, and then the school is saying no. So it becomes his world versus has, right? So it is good when schools come out, like you said, and say the truth, right? And from the beginning, let students know that you can't afford to bully another student. But it's a bit difficult. And I go back to parents. When parents that are bullies, right, have shown the child that this is how to live, the child goes to school and feel that's the normal way to live. The child, will go ahead and bully another child. You tell parents that their child is a bully, and then they tell you that the child is not. Even when you can see right there in front of everybody that this child is bullying another child, they tell you, no, that's not bullying. A parent once said, it's not our fault that your daughter is weak.
How do we curtail this?
School. So when it comes to management, regulating these things, so from the source, I'll blame the parents. But you see, regulating and controlling it, I put the blame to the school. School is not just for academics. School is to mold the child, right? Yeah. So when you principal a school, you're principaling both the children and the parents. You have to let parents know how to behave because a lot of them don't know how to behave, right? So if the school has in place and say, these are our policies, this is how we treat bullies. If your child bullies another child, this is what we do. If you stick by your policy, one or two things will happen. It's either the parents will adjust and, work within your policy, or they leave your school, right? If they leave your school, you will lose temporarily the money, but the eventual issue of one child killing another child would not happen in your school.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the school. When you have policy, if you ask a lot of schools, beautiful schools now, what their anti-bullying policies are, they probably don't have one.
Crap.
Right? So when it happens, you're trying to also tell this child, no, it's okay. But meanwhile, this child is, and if the parents, like I said, are very viable economically for your business, they just tend to play it down.
So we've had situations. Thanks for shedding light on that. Now let's move it to let's move from child, parent, and school. Let's look at the teachers, the kind of teachers that we employ now. We have a similar incident where a teacher slapped a 3-year-old here in Lagos State. 3-year-old. I can't recall what the outcome was at the end of the day. I think the state government took action on that. Where we find that teachers abuse children and they don't even know what they've done in the first place. That's how problem. Do we? Because you go to some places and then you tell them that this is not right and they tell you no,
That's how to raise students.
Yeah, discipline. You have to discipline it.
Yeah.
And then you have canes. What was it called? Horsewhip.
Koboko.
Yes, and you're using it on children, and we have that. How best is it that we have quacks running schools now, or is it that it is just embedded in our culture as such that we can't even separate ourselves and then be forward thinking in terms of how to address this menace? Because in almost every sector, you see bully.
Yeah.
In everything. Even in the military, paramilitary, you are interacting with a police officer on the road.
Everywhere.
The first instinct for him is to bully. Why? Because he's on uniform and he has a rifle.
In the health sector.
Have you
been bullied by a nurse?
Yes, so I'll give you an instance. I once went for treatment. I wasn't feeling too well, and I went to the hospital for a medical checkup. And after the medical checkup, malaria. So basically, I told the doctor that I don't feel too good.
Right.
I do not think that I'll be able to go to work. Right. So I'd need you to give me an excuse duty, just so that I can present. And the first thing that came out from the young doctor was, that's how you people behave. Is it not just malaria?
Right.
And then I was taken aback, took a deep breath, and I looked at her and I said, have I come to you for a series of requests before? She said, no. I said, do you know me before? I said, no. I said, your diagnosis is malaria, but I feel a certain way that if I go to work, I could collapse. And I'm asking for excuse duty. Is this how you were trained? Or do you think, and I had to point it out, I said, do you think that is a professional way of addressing
issue?
You don't even know me. So you think that's okay because I look this way.
You should be strong enough.
I said, have you even checked can you even check my age on my bio, first of all? And so we get away with so much. So bullying, it's ingrained in our system.
It is.
And you're talking to an officer and the first thing, who are you? And I'm like, can you just, I'm greeting you, officer, good afternoon. Tell me good afternoon if you wish. And then we can have a very peaceful conversation and we move on. If you find anything wanting in my car or something, we can trash that. You can arrest me and sue, charge me to court for whatever, but you don't have to talk to me in that tone. So how do we begin to address this situation?
So it's a people thing. It's a people thing. It's like you rightly said, every sector. You find it everywhere. You know, one hospital, I said to my younger brother before he got into the hospital, someone that was really sick got into the hospital very early, and the doctor was not there. And the nurse came out and said, "Oh, you want to?" He said he wants to see the doctor, and said, "Okay, wait till 9 a.m. Doctor will be here." And he said, "No, I can't wait till 9 a.m. This is just past 6. I came in early because I'm not feeling well." And then the nurse said to him, "This can't be an emergency. You drove here by yourself." Right?
Yeah.
So we're looking at it in the educational sector, and if these teachers know better, they will probably do better.
But they're supposed to be trained.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Because I get a lot of engagement on social media, I laugh so if you tell these teachers that were whipped all through their young years, they'll also come and tell you they turned out well. That if they did not beat me like that,
you are battered, my friend.
That I would not turn out this way. I'm like, are you sure you turned out well? Everybody seems to turn out well, no matter what the background story is. So when you have that kind of mindset, you come to a school as a teacher, you look at the child, and somewhere at the back of your mind, you want the child to turn out well, and you start to flog them. Right? So as much as I don't like the policy of, no cane, no, teachers have done so badly that those policies are justified. Right? You see a child And you know, as a teacher, a lot of your background comes to play when you come to class, when you come to school. I've seen a situation where a teacher feels bad when parents drop off their kids in their cars.
Any kind of cars that...
Any kind of car. And then they would say, even to your face, why can't they walk down to school? Why do you have to drive them in the car? Your house is not far. Why can't they walk? Right. It is coming from a deep-seated problem, right? You have a traumatic childhood, and then you're seeing parents showing love on their children, and it brings something inside you, and you don't like it.
Okay.
Right. So if you come to a class and you see a child that is being pampered, why do you have to worry? Why do you have to feel bad about it? Right? So sometimes you don't blame parents when they stand up and say, no, you can't do this to my child, because these teachers go overboard, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Then it takes me back to the place of the school as a school. You're guiding your students, you're guiding the parents. You have to be very strict with the teachers, because eventually, if they mess up, it comes to your school. It's the name of the school they will mention eventually, ultimately. So schools also have to check how these teachers behave, right? There was a time in my children's school, the teacher came from the public school to take them for exams. And the man was spending, after a day, he looked at the class. When I met him, he was boiling. He said, it's because you guys are in private school. If you were in my school. Right? And I looked at him like, I pity the students in your school. But it's the way that we've been raised. If we do not think that... So you tell teachers, you tell even parents that it's possible to raise a child in love and discipline without smacking them, without flogging them. They can't picture it. They don't think it's possible, ever possible. Right? So if you don't think it's possible, then how do you want to raise children? How do you want to treat them in class? You will beat them. You'll flog them. Or what also happened in some cases is, because the school's policy is don't touch them, don't beat them, these teachers say things that would hurt the...
Yes.
So they say it verbally, such that somehow they just want to hurt the students, and they don't know how to do it. And then they
use words.
Yeah, and they use words, and they say things. And then some students will take it and go and tell their parents. The parents will come and fight, right? But some students will, don't forget, they don't all react the same way. You'll say to some students, it will kill their morale, it will affect their psyche, and they will keep quiet, and it will affect them for the rest of their life. They won't even have the guts to go tell their parents, right? That's where the school, has a very huge role to play. You have to be very intentional about how your teachers deal with your students, because you think that is every child that would come and say to you that, oh, this teacher said this. No, a lot of children will not have the guts to say it out. You say it to them, it affects, they just become very weak and demoralized, and you will not even know what exactly the teacher said to them. They take it in, and from that point, you have a weak child, and you'll stay with them for the entire life. Right? So if schools don't pay attention to these things, and then the teachers will also think, oh, but I said it to this child and he's not reacting. So why are you reacting? Why are you shouting? I said, why are you overreacting? I said the same thing to this child, but you've actually set a destruction path for that child, because that child as a child, I'm a kind of child that when my mother say, come and take this thing from me, and instead of going, I will go to one corner and I'll be crying. I am that kind of child that if you say by 12 o'clock, I will give you food. If it clocks 12 and you don't give me the food, I will not be able to come to you and say, where's my food? I will go to one corner and I'll cry, right? Other children will come at 12 and say, Oga, where's my food? Right? So if you understand that children come in different ways like that, different forms like that. I have 3 children. I have 2 that are totally different. There's a child that is like me. You have to go to him to realize that his bag is bad. He will not come and ask you to replace it. I have another one who is telling you, my bag is bad. When am I getting a new one? The other one, that one will even be telling her that, don't stress daddy. He's not weak. He's just his temperament. You have all of those mix of children in your class, and you're speaking words into them. you destroy a lot of lives by just saying words carelessly. Some people will react. Some students will react. They'll tell their parents come to school, they'll blow it up. But some children, you say it to them, it destroys them, and then they just keep quiet. And they just try to grow with it. And the parents will be wondering, what's going on with this child? It's just words that have come out from teachers. So it's cool. If the schools don't check it, if you give your teacher the free will to do as they like, to say as they like to your students, it will destroy a lot of students.
Thank you very much. Now let's look at sexual harassment in schools, because we can't just be talking about schools, children, without looking, because sometimes you have adolescents in school as well. And we've had cases of sexual abuse from the teachers to the students, and then the students, the teachers. What is fueling, or what is driving these? Why is it that teachers can't just keep to themselves and go for other mature adults? A case in view is a recent trend where an NYSC core member was recently posted to a PPA, and the first pronouncement is like, "Oh, the girls in these schools are mature. They are going to hear. they are going to receive so much from him." And I think that the core member is currently being disciplined as we speak. We've seen a 35-year-old teacher having sexual intercourse with a 16-year-old. And I'm wondering, what is happening? For crying out loud, what is happening?
So it's interesting. Like, there are so many questions that we won't have answers to.
Yeah.
But from where I see it, so people, children would gain sexual consciousness at different ages, right? So my first question to that scenario is, the boy is 16, where were his parents? Okay. If there's one thing we do around here that I found out a lot, is to give children responsibilities that do not belong to them.
Okay.
At very young age. You know, parents are making their teenagers feel like breadwinners.
Yes. And it's good that you're pointing that out.
You need to take care of yourselves. They come home with stuff and you're praising them, right? When I was in SS3, when I had my mandatory service, I bought a shirt. I couldn't put on the shirt from the house. I put it on in school. I had to remove it before I go back home. Because if you have one extra shirt that my mother did not buy,
and you're going to justify,
you're dead. Do you understand? And then at very tender age now, mothers, fathers are expectant of teenage children that are not working, right? So when you put that responsibility on them, one, apart from the fact that they'll find different ways to make money, horrible ways to make money. The other thing is you lose control over them.
Yes.
So you can't talk to them, right? I have teenage children in university. You will call me. I will tell you the number of times you will call me in a week. And till now, you want to do certain things, you can't do them. You have to run them by me, right? Even though you're 18. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But what do we have now? You have 13-year-old, 14-year-olds, and parents leave them to make decisions by themselves. Students are transiting from GSS to SS classes. Parents leave them to decide what they want to do. Students follow their friends to science class, follow their friends to art class without checking whatever the future holds for them. They just make decisions. Parents allow them. So when you get to that stage, how do you question the actions of your 15-year-old or your 16-year-old? A boy that goes to school and comes back home and brings something for mommy and brings something for daddy. You don't question, right? Now, they would hit sexual consciousness at different ages. So we have to also check. Like I said, school is not just for academics. Your teachers, how do they dress? How do they relate with... I mean, let's not even go to parents, right?
Yeah.
You see some parents bring their children to school in the morning and you're wondering, you're coming to school.
How did you leave the house?
How did you leave the house? How do you come to school like this? And they flaunt whatever it is they're trying to flaunt. It makes them feel very good. That's why I said one of our biggest challenge is that the people that were not properly brought up are now parents. They're parents now, right? They're parents.
Yeah.
So you can't, Yoruba will say, akogba, right? So that is, I am teaching you, but you're not accepting the training. But then there are cases where, as a parent, you don't have anything to pass down. You don't, right? So teachers would behave in certain ways that would appeal to the students. In some cases, it is the students that are interested in the teachers, right? If the teachers are not disciplined enough, and the school does not have a culture that checks that, then there will be trouble. But then ultimately, when these things start to happen, especially with mobile phones now, you have secret in the internet. Teachers are having conversation with students, and parents are having conversation with. No, I've had situations in my capacity as PTA chairman to have conversation with students, SS3 students. If you're a female student, and the parents can testify, once I have a conversation with you on anything, I am calling your parents. And I'm telling them, oh, I'm chatting with your daughter about so, and so, right? These things is not because of anything, but you don't know, you can only speak for yourself.
Yeah.
You don't know what is in the heart of that child or that boy or that girl.
Yeah.
The situation that we're looking at, the woman is 30-something, the boy is a teenager. The easy way to look at it is, oh, she took advantage of the boy. For all you care, it might be the boy that started it all. Now, the lady in question does not have an excuse. Nothing is justified here, right? But then, these children, you'll be amazed at what they think about, the things they get involved, the sites that they have visited in their 10th, 11th year, that you and I will not see in our lifetime, right? These things are happening. So they have things in their head. So they go to school with this feeling. They look at their teachers in certain ways that even the teachers are not conscious of, right? And then things start to happen in their head, right? But if it's a school environment, if the school owners, the school managers are not conscious and intentional about checking these things, it will happen. It will grow, and eventually it will come back, and bite the school.
So my next question would be, what is the role of the PTA in all of this? Does it serve as a check and balance? Because most times when you go to PTA, I've been opportune to go to PTA meetings, and I just walked out of that place. Not for me, but for my cousins, and I walked out. Why? Because
I can imagine
the kind of conversations I was hearing. Rather than deal with the issue, it seemed like the school basically just planted some parents to drive the conversation in a certain direction, and to distract from the main
issue.
The main issue, and I'm asking because you wear the cap for the school, right? As the PTA chairman, can the PTA be a check and balance organ in such a situation, knowing fully well that sometimes the schools are found wanting, they want to uphold or protect their image, their integrity, thereby either providing false information when certain issues are reported, or maybe something is going on, they just try to prevaricate around the issues and then avoid it. What is the role of the PTA?
Okay, so ultimately the PTA is there to help the school, to assist the school. And then the PTA it's parents and teachers, but it's majorly about parents right? So you bring a perspective to the school and help the school see from the parent side, right? a lot of times you think that people will feel that, the PTA is there to fight the school, to tear the school down, to ensure that we scatter things when the school is not doing well. But then the truth is, there is no perfect school.
Okay.
If you get angry about this and leave the school, you get to the new one, you find a whole new,
totally
different problem
scenario,
right? So ultimately, the PTA is there to assist the school, to work with the school. You have a picture of the kind of environment you want for your child. Your child is there as a student. This is what you want to achieve, right? But then that does not mean when you get to the PTA meeting, a lot of times we're fighting parents than we're fighting the school. Yeah. Because you listen to certain parents and then when they ask, how did you get here? You want to, no, you are how we got here. A parent will come and a parent boasted one time and said, in my child's former school, I told him to slap the teacher. And she was telling other parents, she was addressing the parents at the PTA meeting. And you're wondering, what's going on here? Okay? If you have a school like Sanctum, where the school owner is a parent also, and understands fully how we feel, you're blessed. Because we come from different perspectives to say, no, this is what we want, this is what, and we deliberate, right? And we treat issues to solve them, not to destroy the school, so that ultimately our children can thrive, in that environment. The PTA has a very huge role to play, because when you come with the understanding that your child is here, your child is not going anywhere. It's part of the system. You want to create a system that is conducive for the child. But if you come with the mentality of, I can find it better somewhere else, you will tear the school down, and then you will leave, right? Now, because schools also don't want to lose, like I said, their clients. They don't want to lose their customers. They want to tell parents what they want to hear. Okay? Growing up, you remember those days. You don't have cleaners in your that clean your classroom.
I would do it.
You have a roster.
I had a blackboard that you'd have to every Friday.
What's the right word for that? You look for charcoal.
Yeah, charcoal, grind it,
and look for leaves.
Awolowo leaf.
This kind of leaf, and then to make it black for Monday.
Yes, and then you get home with.
Do you understand? And then you have a roster.
And then you have a roster for cleaning.
For cleaning the class,
male, female,
cleaning the compound, for cleaning all of those things. Now,
and you go for labor.
Do you understand? Those are things that we do, and we learn. Right?
Yeah.
Some of us, we didn't learn how to sweep until we started to do that in school.
Yeah, sure.
Okay? And then today, we want cleaners, schools to have cleaners for the classroom, for the this, for the that.
Even
and
cook.
Then cook. Do you understand? And then I'm wondering, how exactly are these kids going to learn these things? Because you go from primary school to secondary school, you earn cooking, you get into secondary school, you go all through, you have cleaners and cook and all that. You get into universities, private universities, where you only buy food throughout. And suddenly you're out in your mid-20s.
And the system then tells you that as a woman, you must learn how to cook. Or the guys will now say, you must.
So the question is, look at it from primary to NYSC. Where exactly do you learn to cook?
Basic life surviving skills.
Now, God help you if you have parents that don't cook. God help you. So you're out and you're done with NYSC and you can't cook nothing. And it's the truth. Look at the system. Where exactly, when I first saw uni where you go 4 years, 5 years and you graduate and you don't cook. I'm like, this is supposed to be part of your learning.
Yeah, it's basic life.
Do you understand? And they say, and then you buy food every day till you graduate. And then you're coming out as a young adult ready to start life. How do you do that?
And you're just folding your hands, waiting for people to come and do stuff.
Do you understand?
And you become even demanding. Sorry, to cut you short.
You get. So this is where parents, come in for secondary schools. That if you're part of the PTA for primary schools, you're supposed to bring the parents' perspective to the school and said, I'm from outside, I'm looking at it with the view of the parents. This is what you should do as a school. The school should not always take it as we want to destroy the
combat.
School. No, it's not
front.
fight. We're in it together, right? We're doing this together. The school should not take it as, we're trying to destroy the school. No. The parents should also not go with the mindset of, I'll tear the school down, I'll show them, I'll destroy it, and then I'll get out. No. If you do that in every school will be like that.
Yeah.
You get.
Yeah.
So PTA, very vital. Some schools don't have them because of experiences. The things that some parents bring to school, things that they do. Some school owners just decide, no PTA.
Okay. If there is no PTA, which then will take me to my next question is, how do we create a safe space of reporting as such that victims can, as student victims can be open enough to share what the burden that they have, the conversations that they are having with teachers that are not right.
Right.
With parents as well that are not right. Because it's not out of place that a young parent can see a teenage schoolgirl and find a way to interact with them and then kickstart relationship. Where students are abused, either verbal, physical, safe space to report or have a community. Is there anything like that within the school system based on your experience?
Actually, there should be. And when parents look for school, sometimes I wonder, what exactly are you looking out for? What are you going there to check?
Yeah.
Right? And it's interesting how parents come in and look for different things. So a parent will come and see a piece of paper on the floor.
How the class is rugged, ACs, the kind of furniture.
Yes, I have seen parents leave school because of things like that. I've seen parents come and say, no, my child cannot come here because there's a piece of paper on the floor. I am not justifying the piece of paper.
Yeah,
I'm just saying there's certain things you look out for. And this that you have asked is one of the most important things, reporting. When things happen, will these children have the courage to speak up? When they speak up, what happens? Do you encourage them to speak up? Do you appreciate them coming forward to make these comments? Or do you try to run them down and keep them quiet such that if it happens the next time, they're afraid to come out?
Yeah.
Right? So if you find that kind of policy, that kind of environment where students can walk into the principal's office, for example, and say, this is what I feel. And this principal appreciates that student for coming up.
By not questioning, are you sure?
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
You're lying.
You're lying.
Are you sure? This teacher, do you understand? You give every child the benefit of that doubt that they're telling the truth. And then you encourage other students also. Children can tell tales.
Yeah.
Okay? They can report things. And they're so good at manipulating parents and teachers that, right? We're conscious of that. But at the same time, if you try to suppress them a couple of times and they see that is the system, they'll go quiet.
Yeah.
As a parent, if I find myself in that kind of environment, I don't want to stay.
Okay.
Because I want a situation where when you are able to speak to the teacher and then you are not afraid to tell me. I've had a situation where a particular school, right, tell their students that, no, when things happen in school, you don't have the right to go and tell your parents. Let's discuss it in school. I'm like, no, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
That's wrong.
To know.
Do you understand? I need to know. You need to encourage this child to come and tell me at home. I'm not saying the child should not tell you, but you don't solve it all in school, because eventually you'll come back to me and say, oh, we need your support. How do you get my support when the child is not telling me what's going on in school? Right? So you need to be able to balance it such that the child is expressive. The child is not afraid to tell you this is what is going on in school. Because really, you can't be in every child. You can't be in every class. You can't be in every situation. It is these children that will come and tell you.
Not even your CCTV.
No, not your CCTV. They know where
I know your coverage.
Do you understand? They know where your blind spots are.
Yeah,
they know where to go and you will not catch them. They know it. They're smart, right? But they are the ones that are your greatest assets if you want to know what is going on in school. if you suppress them such that they're not able to come out to say it, then you're in trouble. And as a parent, I don't want to be in that kind of environment. Reporting, very vital.
Very, very vital. So let's now take it. Having dealt with schools, PTA and all, let's look at the role of government in all of this. I know that government used to, while I was in primary and secondary schools, they would come for routine inspection. And
Yes.
I don't know, is that still the case?
I-
Is government doing as much as they should? Are they ensuring that teachers in both private and public schools are retrained often with the current global standards?
Particularly, I think that government needs to do more. Government needs to do a lot more. Especially with checking, growing up, we didn't have this number of private schools.
Yeah.
We didn't have the number of private schools. Now, they have helped the system because, I mean, if you take out private schools, I don't know how the government schools can cope with it.
No, they can't.
They can't, right?
Yeah.
But then, government's role in ensuring that standards are kept is very important. I do not think that government is doing enough currently. Because you see these schools, they do some of these things that they do and get away with them because nobody's checking, because there are no penalties.
How are they even accredited is the first
You
question.
wonder, you get to some places and you're wondering who licensed this school, right?
Yeah.
Who checks what's going on there? We don't want to start about examination malpractice. No, you don't want to go
Miracle centers.
there. Oh, no, you don't want to go there. I tell people, if you have any faith, if you have any hope left in this country, you have just tiny hope left, don't go to a GC center. You lose it. Oh, no, you lose it. You would, and you look at the...
And is that bad?
Oh, it's bad.
That they even tell you if you're trying to do the right thing, say, not be you holy pass.
No. It's bad. I've experienced it twice with my first two children. And in one particular one, it was the parents that would sit outside of the center and contribute to money for the invigilators inside. It was so bad at some point, I started to check on my phone, how do you complain against a center? I couldn't find any platform to do it. It was horrible. And you look at these innocent children when they come out, 14, 15 years old.
That should be a topic for another day.
You don't even want to go there. And then my daughter came out and told me that after a couple of minutes into the exams, a teacher comes in with a list, call those names, the students will get up and follow him to wherever they're going to write the exams. And then those parents, the one that amuses me, those parents sitting outside contributing money will come on social media and say, how did we get here? You are how we got here.
Yeah.
How did you
And
get
then
here?
I think we're on a system where we're just looking for the next prey to put our blames on.
I'm telling you.
And usually it's either the government or the
Blame
president.
the government, we blame the president, we blame the school, we blame the teachers. When we have examination that is really testing our students, that is checking malpractices, we raise our voice to cancel it. Let's stop writing UTME.
I've written exams growing up. I've written exams on assembly ground, where private school. But the good thing for me was that my proprietor, of his blessed memory, schooled in England.
Right.
And so when we're writing exams, there is your school numbers. There's either you are even or odd. Is in the way they reshuffle the numbers,
Right.
and then you just find yourself either you are writing on the walkway. You just move. All the seats are arranged. The numbers are there. Just look for your numbers, and then they paste everything. You have to see your number and then where you are writing your exam. So you are seated, and the next person seated with you, assuming I'm in GSS 3, the next person is SS3.
Oh.
And the next SS3 might be far off that they can't even communicate. There's no form of communication.
Wow.
And if they are close, maybe 2 or 3, they are backing each other. So this one is facing the other side, this one is facing. So during the exam period, everywhere is scattered. So nothing like assembly grounds or whatever we need to pray before. No, it's just that you are coming, you know when you are coming into the
That's a school owner that has the interest of the students at heart. Now we have a lot of school owners that are now don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There are schools
who still
there are schools, even in Lagos, where they will not cheat. The officials know if you go to that place, there's no settlement, they will stand their ground. There are schools like that.
Yeah.
We still have schools like that, right?
Yeah.
But of course, the ones with the bad names will be the loudest.
Yes, of course, and they are more in numbers.
We'll think that the system is like, no, the system is not entirely corrupt. There are schools where if you take your child, you know that this child will study. And from my observation, there is no child that cannot pass the SS3 exam. If from GSS1, your focus is, we're going to SS3 to write these exams, and you study all through, you will pass, right? But then you find a situation where, because there are ways, you have devised ways to manipulate the system, even the teachers now don't give their best because they think it doesn't really count. We'll find a way eventually. And then you find parents also enabling these things. I've had parents from us
because they don't want to pay for exams twice.
Yes, I have parents pull children out to school centers where they think they will pass, not that they will think they will study properly.
Yeah, sure.
They just want them to pass, right? So we have that kind of system. But the truth is, I don't think there's any child that cannot pass those exams.
You can now.
If the teachers give their best and they study well, they will pass. But we have this, in the midst of all of that, I have to say they're still very, very good schools. Good schools.
So how would you, in your final words, advise parents, schools, the government? I know you've done that before.
Right.
And the students themselves. So 4 in 1, because everybody has a part to play in making our society safe and better for it.
Yes. So I'll start with, so we tend to say that a lot of things, have changed over time. And I totally agree. But you see, the basic tenets that keeps our society running, the foundation of it, they don't change.
Okay.
Simplicity, integrity, humility, kindness, all of those things, they will remain that forever, right?
Yeah.
Those are the things we build the foundation on. As things change, as things evolve, we as parents need to understand, especially the religious ones, that this world, this digital world, is here to stay. Because the way we think, the way we behave, the way we react is as if, keep my children away from devices, take them away, shut everything down, as if we're going to wake up someday and we're back in 1980.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. We have children who cannot imagine that there was a time that there were no phones. This digital age is here to stay. If we come from that mindset, then we know that we need to be intentional. We need to have a say in the content that are created, because those are the things that our children will engage with, right? So for parents, we are role models. These children will become us. Look at your daughter, is a small version of you. Your son is the same thing. Whatever it is that we churn out every day, that's who they become, right? So we need to understand that it's either we want to learn, we want to relearn, we want to unlearn. It's very difficult, but for the sake of these children, we have to be very intentional. At this age, we can't shy away from anything. We can't be absent. We can't shut them down, okay? Whether you want to accept it or not, the digital age is here to stay. They are in that system. When you're gone, they'll still be here.
Yeah.
And if we keep running away from these things, it's just going to get worse. So rather come together, be intentional about it, start creating content for these children, okay? Because in the past, you would have an elderly woman that sits. We grew up with the likes of Tales by Moonlight.
Yeah, sure.
An elderly man that sits in the moonlight and tell you tales.
Tales, yeah.
Right? We can do the same thing now, but digitally. But if we're shutting down all the digital channels, don't touch it, don't have a phone, don't get on social, don't do that. How are we going to do it? We're going to wake up one day and there's nothing to pass down. So as parents, we have to be intentional, we have to be present. We have to join this digital race and create content. As a school, I said it before, if you're not careful as a school owner, the parents will turn your school into, you wake up one day and you'll be shocked. What kind of school have I built, right? Yeah. But then you also need to understand that as much as you're building the schools for the students, you need to help the parents. I know what I am saying. You need to, as a school, especially if you have a school owner who is disciplined, who has, the morals and the culture, the parents are part of the people you want to train. The parents are part of the people you want to train. You need to help them. With the teachers, you need to build a culture that works. And for government, we need to check. We need to do a lot of checks. We need to keep schools, on their toes, because where there are no consequences, everybody will get away with everything.
Abuse is inevitable.
The abuse is inevitable, and eventually, this abuse we're talking about is on the children. And don't forget, this ones that we're raising, if just look at them and picture what will be like in another 40, 50 years, you can easily tell. If you look at the children now, look at the parents, look at the children, and you look 40, 50 years ahead and you're not worried, there's something is wrong, because I am worried.
All right. Abuse in school is a societal issue, not just a school problem. It affects students, it affects family, communities, and awareness. Vigilance and systemic change are very key, and it's something that we are bringing to the fore. And like we always say, the LHC Podcast, which is Lighthouse Convos, podcasts is a platform that inspire elevated living, and is the reason why we're having conversations like this. You've heard from Mr. Damilare. He's done justice to this topic. There's nothing else to add or subtract. He's been an amazing guest on our platform. Today, we want to say big thank you to you for gracing our platform for this. And to our viewers out there who have watched up to this point, I hope that you've been able to pick one or two lessons and things to inculcate on your children, right? So do us a favor. Let's keep the conversation going on all our social channels. Subscribe, share these videos with family and friends, because that's the only way they can get to hear this good news. From all of us in the studio, I want to say big thank you to everyone who's been part of this production, and see you next time. Bye for now.